Marcus, defensive coordinators have had a whole offseason, right, to watch the tape on Jayden Daniels, to plan for next season. We know about that adjustment period that sometimes happens, but if you were in those meetings, what would your focus be?
My focus would be, how in the hell are we supposed to stop him when you can't play with 13 people? That would be my first question. The second one I would ask is, how do we want to make Jayden Daniels play? And I think you implement what teams tried to do to Lamar, and then Lamar started taking advantage of keep him in the pocket. And I know it sounds simple, because the back-breaking plays happen when he's outside of the pocket, either with his legs or being able to get the ball out of his hands. But now it's about condensing. Now it's about having a rush plan that's very smart, having 4 guys up front that hopefully you can try to get after the quarterback without having to commit more guys into the rush. And then at times, take your chances with pressure. The problem is he's so advanced at playing from the pocket. He understands that rhythm and timing. And what does the Commanders do? They go and make it harder by adding Deebo Samuel, a guy that you can get the ball in multiple ways without Jayden Daniels having to push the ball down the field and still making explosive plays. So it'll be interesting to see how they would defend him, but that would be the plan that I would deploy.
I love what Swagger was saying, especially the perspectives. He's a defensive lineman. Yeah. I was a cornerback. So when he says that, keep him in the pocket, we had to trust those big guys up front that they were going to actually keep him in the pocket, and then plays weren't going to be 10 seconds long. But he said, you think about it last year, Cliff Kingsbury comes over. He's a first-time coordinator for the Commanders. I love that. And then Jayden Daniels, he's a rookie. So teams are going in not knowing, all right, we're figuring out in the middle of the season, we're getting tempo. We're getting a bunch of 4x1 sets. Now going into year 2, everybody will expect that. But something that Marcus ended with, when you add a guy like Deebo Samuel for a second-year quarterback, give a new wrinkle. He is going to be that new wrinkle. Where they line him up, how they choose to use him. Will he be in the backfield? Will he do some of the things that an Austin Eckler did last year? Will he be able to throw those screens out to him on the outside? And then the second part of it is protection for a quarterback going into year 2. We saw C.J. Stroud this past year struggle with getting hit and his offensive lineman giving up sacks. You bring in Laramie Tunsil and you solidify that offensive line, that gives Jayden Daniels all the confidence in the world.
Okay. I just think it's funny that really like the conclusion that they're kind of drawing is like, how do you beat Jayden Daniels? You keep him in the pocket. And that's just so, man, just a funny statement to make, because he's an elite passer and an elite playmaker in the pocket. That's like saying, how do you beat Joe Burrow? Keep him in the pocket. No, that's not how you beat Joe Burrow. Keeping him in the pocket will pick you apart. So like, and they say, oh, that's what they did to Lamar Jackson. You go, Lamar Jackson was nowhere near as gifted of a passer as Jayden Daniels. And it's just a fact, man. That's just a fact. Jayden Daniels just passing alone. Take away, that's why I said this before throughout all last season. Take away his mobility, and he was still a top quarterback in the NFL. Still a special and gifted passer of the ball. His success was not built upon his mobility. Don't get me wrong, that was a massive aspect of it, and he used it, and he scrambled well. He had, I think, the most scramble yards in the NFL. But, like, that's downplaying, though, than what he did with the degree of accuracy and anticipation and the rhythm and timing of his throws. I mean, like, this idea of like, oh, what do you want? How do you beat Jayden Daniels? Or you just keep him in the pocket? No, that's not it. That's not it. It doesn't. I don't know. He will still pick you apart. Yes, I guess if you keep him in the pocket and you take away his receivers, so then he has nowhere to throw the ball and he's staying in the pocket. so now he can't escape. So then, like, yes, I guess technically, sure, right? Like, I mean, sure, okay, I cover all his receivers, keep him in the pocket so he can't, burn you with his legs, and then he'll either have to take a sack or throw the ball away. Okay, I mean, like, sure, I guess, right? It's like, how do we stop Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley? Well, we'll tackle him within the first couple of yards. Like, yeah, you're right. That is, I guess, how you stop them. You stop them. You only let them get like 2 yards. That is technically true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. The only way you really stop Jayden is by trying to confuse him, honestly, and in a lot of ways flushing him out of the pocket, but doing so in a way that has him going backwards, and having him, forcing him to try to do too much, to make those mistakes, to overplay his athleticism, quite frankly. But I mean, like, that's obviously an incredibly hard thing to do. They're talking about this new wrinkle, and I made a video about this the other day in terms of designed runs versus scramble yards, and how I want to see Jayden Daniels have more designed runs and less scrambling, less, off the script type runs, more designed, organized, intentional runs. And that's another big way how you help out Jayden Daniels and this Commanders offense, outside of all the other stuff that we've already talked about as well. But that's actually what I would like to see, more so than just trying to minimize his scrambling, because again, that's also becomes devastating for the defense. Because if you have these designed runs where he's able to get, again, all he does is need to get like 5 yards, like 5 yards at a time. Obviously you want more than that, but like, if you do some design runs and he's able to just, get 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, obviously once you start getting that high, well, then it's like, well, yeah, it's a chunk play at that point. You're golden. But just really any consistent 4, 5, 6, positive yardage in a designed run, that is what I want to see, because then that now adds another layer. There is no, oh, we just have to keep Jayden in the pocket, or, oh, like, it becomes, you're adding another now pre-snap play that the defense has to try to figure out. What are they going to do? What is Jayden going to do? How is this offense? What is this play that's going to be called? And that's why I would love to see more designed runs from Jayden Daniels. And that is what you saw Lamar Jackson do, in more recent years. Have these more designed runs compared to scrambles, more, off the script scrambles. And Lamar Jackson's offense has significantly improved since then. It's been major steps forward year after year after year, and it just becomes so much harder for defenses to really contain you in that regard. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't think him being able to overcome this whole sophomore slump type thing is predicated on Debo and having Debo there now, and they'll be able to do this and that, and giving him another wrinkle, etc., etc. I just don't see it that way. I think if everything was even identical, and he was given no other additional wrinkles, he would still succeed with flying colors. To me, the way how I look at it, outside of the obvious of like protect him, O-line, give him some weapons, like it all just comes down to Cliff Kingsbury and Jayden Daniels, and what is their next step. And that's why I keep kind of harping on this whole designed runs over scrambles. That to me is one of the big next evolutions of his game, and just the play calling and the play designs, and the flow of the play calling within a game that I really want to see. I want to see him be able to get some of these design runs where he gets 7 yards and slides, where he's able to get, like, turn the corner, get 8 yards and run out of bounds, right? I want to see him get those 8 yards, and as he's flicking the ball to the ref, and he's hustling, he's jogging back to the huddle, right? Now it's 2nd and 2. Like that's what I want to see. 2nd and 2. And now you either can take a shot down the field or you just hand the ball off. Boom. 1st and 10. 2 plays, you just got 14, 15 yards. Boom. Just like that. Right? Now the defense is on their back foot. they're kind of just like, oh man, we're getting gashed just in the run game alone. And then again, field will be open. Then you can start to do some of your gadget plays, work the ball to Ertz. Like it just becomes so stupid easy, honestly. It really does. And it is very much what you saw with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens with Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. To me, that's more of the formula, the kind of that you wanna follow. So that's why I find it unhelpful to kind of look at what happened with CJ Stroud. And I get they're using CJ Stroud as an example as to the whole sophomore slump and how they didn't really protect him and he had a terrible O-line. And we just saw Patrick Mahomes get gashed by the defense and everyone complaining about that O-line. So we know that aspect of it. But yeah, I'm excited to see Jayden Daniels year 2, honestly, because I know from here on out there's going to be a lot of talk of like, oh, they got film on him. And I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see how they play him when they have film on him. I'm excited. They got film on Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow. Doesn't seem to matter. So, but those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jayden Daniels? What are you expecting from him in year 2? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.